Now, I have known John Michael Howson for many, 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 many years. And I've always enjoyed his company. And he and I have had some fun times together, not only here, but in the United States as well. But I think he might be losing the plot after another extraordinary outburst on Melbourne radio, which has resulted in his suspension. Incidentally, the showbiz reporter is now the co-host of 3AW's Sunday morning program in Melbourne. And on Sunday, John Michael Howson was all set to interview Julian Assange's mother, Christine. But it all came unstuck after she heard his treatment of a previous guest. And the mother of Julian Assange told the program, "I won't be doing an interview with you because you're acting like a pig." Well, John Michael Howson responded in a bizarre manner by screaming on air, "Zig Heil, Zig Heil." And obviously Mrs. Assange hung up the phone. He later tried to argue his way out of the mess by pointing out the Nazi mentality of those who tried to censor him. But he needs to start censoring himself, really, because anybody who tries to draw a comparison or make reference to Nazi Germany is really asking for trouble. And that's exactly what he got. It was a silly thing to do, and it made no sense at the time. He just sounded like he was raving. Do you want to hear it? Listen. I'll play it for you.
I have one question to ask. You're a free speech advocate, are you? You know.
Yes, I do believe in free speech.
Then why did Julian Assange pick Ecuador, a country that has restricted human rights and no free speech? Why of all the countries to go to, why there?
Well, I think if you actually look at what's going on in Ecuador under Carrera, there's actually an attempt to break the monopoly.
No, that's nonsense. He sues people, anybody that criticises the government, which is the first thing of free speech, they're going to find themselves in terrible trouble.
Well,
don't make excuses for him.
I'm sorry, I'm just trying to answer your question. You asked for my perspective, and my perspective is that if you look at what's going on in Ecuador, it's not as straightforward as some of the Western organisations would like to make out.
Oh, no,
And in fact, Ecuador has stood up to the United States, asked them to remove their military bases.
Yeah, go on.
Okay, I'm feeling a bit of paternalism going on here.
I am. I'm absolutely paternalistic because you people are so full of it, you make me want to spew up. This country, you people, because
You're
you go on
about free speech and shouting me down live on radio.
Yes, free speech. You support free speech, and yet you're going on about a country that has restricted free speech.
Well, look at our own country. Look at our own country. Look at the way our radio announcer can shout down a guest.
Well, that is part of freedom of speech. He's expressing his opinion. But we had better move on to Christine Assange.
And what about the government in Canberra that wants to restrict free speech? Why aren't you doing something about that?
Thanks, Sam. Sam Castro from the WikiLeaks Australian Citizens Alliance. Christine Assange joins us now. Christine, good morning.
Good morning. Rather disgraceful the way you treated Sam. And
well, that's good. I'm a disgraceful person.
Excuse me, I won't be doing the interview with you because you're acting like the pig.
Zig Heil! Zig Heil! Zig Heil!
She's gone.
Good, I'm glad.
Well, I'm not. I would have loved to ask a whole lot of questions, and I would have loved to have stated the point of view.
You know what these people want? They want to come on and give you their propaganda, and they don't want any tough questions.
They do. Christine did agree to answer tough questions.
She's gone. Her choice.
I'm disappointed. I would have loved to have been able to speak to her. But I would love to have been able to speak to her because she keeps on saying the Australian government should do something. I would love to know what she thinks they can do. I don't think they can do anything. I would have loved to have put that question to her.
I don't know who the bloke is with John Michael, but they sound like a couple of old ears, don't they? Screaming and yelling. Two old tarts down there in Melbourne. John Michael, what have you done now? He's a bit of a character, I've got to tell you, John Michael, and I like him. I've known him for a long time. We did quite a bit of work together. I wish we could find him, but I would think that he's maybe not answering the phone at the moment, but we'll see if we can get hold of him. But he's tried to argue his way out of the mess by pointing out the Nazi mentality of those who tried to censor him, but he's got to start censoring himself. as I said to you earlier, anybody who tries to draw any kind of comparison or make reference to Nazi Germany is really, really sticking their neck out, and that's exactly what he did. It was silly. And he really did sound like he was raving a little bit. Anyway, there you go. That's John Michael. He has caused similar outrage for verbally abusing a young radio producer and co-host on air. He does lose the plot every now and again. He seems to be getting more and more unstable as the years go by. I don't know. I know they use everything they use anything they can to keep them going in Melbourne radio. But I think, I don't know, I think they might need to put John Michael out to pasture, at least for a little while. I wish I could find him, because he is a character. I mean, he really, and can be quite funny. He is outrageous. But I don't know who the bloke is with him. I know little of what John Michael is doing, but the bloke who's with him sounds as irascible as John Michael. Give me a call. Tell me what's on your mind. 1300 564 652. I'm very, very happy to say I have a dear old friend of mine on the line who's been badly behaved. John Michael Howson. John Michael, good morning.
Good morning, John.
What have you done?
Oh, I've upset people. I have apologised. I'm terribly sorry. I'm actually calling you from Devil's Island because I've been exiled for 4 weeks from 3AW. So I hope the connection is all right.
Listen, tell me, why did they exile you? Was it that bad? I played it.
I mean, the powers that be have their reasons, and they said that I should go off air for 4 weeks. That's all right. I mean, I'm a big boy. I'm also a bit of an old boy now, so I can ride with the punches. But what happened was I was talking to a Julian Assange supporter, I would say a groupie, and I did ask this woman called Sam Castro that it seemed to me, was it odd? Did she think it was odd that Julian Assange had sought a political asylum in a country that doesn't have free speech?
Exactly.
Like Ecuador,
exactly.
Which I think Peter Hutch has written about today in the Sydney Morning Herald. And I thought, for somebody that's a proponent of free speech, it's a very odd country. Now, if he'd have gone to Brazil or somewhere, okay. But Ecuador? Well, of course, she said this was a beat-up and Ecuador had stood up to the Americans and it wasn't true. And I said, it's a documented fact that it is, that they don't have free speech there, and journalists have a very parlous career. Anyway, she then got abused me. So that's their best defence. They start abusing the messenger. So the call finished, and the next caller was Mrs. Assange. So Mrs. Assange came on and said she wasn't going to talk to me because I was a pig. So I hadn't... This is before I'd even asked her anything. I was actually going to ask her about the stress and strain of being the mother of someone in such dire straits. But anyway, I didn't get the chance, but she closed me down, and I responded wrongly, I will say, but you know what this business is like. Sometimes the blood rushes to the head and we say things that we probably shouldn't.
But tell me,
Zig Heil, which because I thought she was acting like a totalitarian and trying to shut me up.
Yeah, but tell me, what was objectionable about what you said?
Well, that's it, but you see, that's it. I think, in fact, she got knickers in a knot yesterday, Mrs. Assange, I think on the ABC early morning news, I think it might have been News 24, when someone said the same thing to her. Why is Julian going to a country, wants asylum in a country where they have limited free speech? They really do.
I know.
And she got very upset at that. Well, she got upset at me, too, for saying the same thing.
Yeah, well, she said you were behaving like a pig.
Yeah. Because I asked him, because I asked the obvious.
Yeah. Well, it was pretty obvious, wasn't it?
Well, that's it. I mean, I don't. And then, of course, I did laugh when I saw him on the balcony at the embassy making a speech. I thought, I think he might have delusions of grandeur and think he's Juan Perón or General Pinochet. They always made speeches from the balcony, didn't they? I thought, oh, it's only a first floor balcony in a flat in Knightsbridge, but at least it's a start.
Yeah, but the woman went on to say, Mrs. Assange went on to say, I would suggest that you go away and read up on what is actually happening in Ecuador. Well, those who follow her advice, according to a document I've seen, will find, among other abuses, the Ecuadorian government is alleged to have shut down 17 media outlets in 2012 alone.
That's
17.
Right. And just in the last couple of weeks, a couple of radio stations, and I think maybe a television station.
Yeah. Anyway, it's a curious choice, as you said, of a country for a media freedom fighter, if that's what he thinks he is.
But you see, the point that and I mean, I probably shouldn't have said what I said, and it was the thing that has hurt, nothing else, not what Neil Mitchell or Darren Hinch, I couldn't care less. You know, in fact, thanks for the publicity. I'm actually on the front page of the Melbourne Sun today. I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled. I couldn't be happier. And I think there's another photo on page 4 or 5. I'm thrilled. I mean, God knows I'm in the retirement stage now, and all of a sudden I'm a cause célèbre. It's wonderful. But the thing about it is, somebody said that saying Sieg Heil meant I was anti-Semitic.
Oh,
well,
what rubbish is that?
I know. And I actually, a reporter came here yesterday and I said, well, actually I had a Jewish great-grandmother. I have a mezuzah, you know, the mezuzah hanging on the wall at my front door. I have a yarmulke in my wardrobe, which I proceeded to put on. And if you go into my pantry, you will see matzos. And it's true. I do.
I know you're not anti-Semitic.
I do. In fact, you can ask Michael Danby, because I've come out with the unqualified support for Israel, and also I fully intend the next time the little fascisti have their demonstration at Max Brenner Chocolate Shop in Melbourne. I mean, isn't that pathetic?
Absolutely
These people turning up to
pathetic.
pick at a chocolate shop. The next time they have their little demo, I fully intend to go in with my yarmulke on and walk through the crowd. And buy chocolates. Although I'm a diabetic and can't eat them, I will buy them.
Listen, you're getting sharper with age.
Well, you know, look, John, if this had happened to me at 26, I might have cried into the pillow. But, yeah, I know how old we are. By the way, happy birthday for a week or two ago, because we share a birthday.
We do.
But I don't care anymore.
Neither do I.
You reach a karma in life. You reach a place in your life where you think, well, I'm in a really wonderful position now as far as having looked back with the wonderful friends, the wonderful family I had, the wonderful life I've had. I'm in a happy place. And I look at these people, like mentioned before, you know, and they seem to not to be very happy people.
Well, they're not.
They're not very happy people. And I think in many ways, you know, when you are positive, and you do and I'm not frightened to speak my mind, and I'm certainly not politically correct in any way, shape or form.
Never have been.
That's a form of fascism, and we have to really watch out when you have people saying what is correct to say and what is not correct to say. Now, I would never refer to anybody in racist terms or any of that vile language, to describe other people. I would not do that. But when it comes to the argy-bargy of give and take, to have to walk a fine line of political correctness is a very dangerous thing. It's George Orwell predictions coming true.
Yeah, you're right there. Anyway, you and I are the least politically correct individuals on the face of the earth.
I wouldn't know how to spell the words.
No, nor would I care. Hey, we've had some fun together, though, haven't we?
Oh, mate, we have. And how's the princess?
Oh, she's wonderful. She'll be happy. She'll be there listening to you. She'll be happy to hear your voice.
You know, John, I will say this on air. One of my regrets, I haven't seen you much in the last few years.
No, I know.
And I really, really enjoyed your company tremendously, always. And I think, you know, when I look where we are, you have had a nice friendship and a nice working relationship, and I think I was inspired by you, the fact that you were, and sometimes I agree with you, sometimes I don't, but you've got the guts to say what you want to say, and that's how I feel. Say what you want to say. Don't be namby-pamby and chew on your words. Say what you come out and say it.
The last time I saw you was at, what's the name of that restaurant in Rodeo Drive? Not Rodeo Drive, one up Spargo.
We were at Cannon Drive, and we were looking at the facelifts.
Yeah, we were. That's right.
You and I and the princess were absolutely choking on our food. And there was one woman that came in, and I've never forgotten. She had a face that, well, sort of like Katie Holmes or something beautiful. And from the neck down, she could barely walk. She was on. She was 110 from the neck down.
Yeah. Were you with us the day that Nancy Reagan was in there?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
We saw little Nancy. Gosh, she's a tiny little thing, isn't she?
Teeny weeny, isn't she?
Yeah, she sure is.
Teeny weeny little thing. Absolutely. Well, I'll be back there. I'm going back towards the end of the month. I have in November, I have a new show opening in Melbourne called More Sex Please, We're Seniors, which I think at this age is entirely appropriate. Right? So, I do think another thing, there is a sort of thing that I've discovered that when I do what I do, I'm not locked into one career, and I'm still working. I think some people get terribly upset by that. They want you to, go into an old folks' home and close the door and not be seen or heard from.
God help the old folks if you went into one.
I know it liven them up, I'm telling you. Yeah, absolutely. They're my people, mate.
John Michael, it's wonderful to talk to you, and I know that Caroline would like me to send her love to you.
Thank you very much.
As I send my love to you, because we do love you. We've been friends for a very long time, and you put a smile on my face.
Thank you, mate. Now, listen, let's keep in touch, please.
Okay, well, let's do that.
I'd love to, John.
All right, well,
and my deep affection to you and Carolyn.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye, John Michael. Bye. John Michael Howson, who is a real character, and let me tell you, in real life, a very lovable man.